Welcome, everyone, to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, Week 3 of the Kefka Grand Prix, Mini Kefka Grand Prix. It says Week 2 of 5, but I promise you, it's Week 3. Tonight, we are featuring Drulith, Ficta, Karant, and Yakko Wacko. I am Boo, with me is Nth, and behind the scenes, we have Asherin on Restream and Ceiling Cat on Tracking. How's it going, Nth?
Pretty good, thanks. Very excited to see this tonight. I haven't gotten to do commentary on an open world seed yet, so this is going to definitely be one of the more interesting runs that we've seen on stream so far.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the flags we're going to see tonight?
Well, aside from the open world part of this seed, the flags are pretty kind this week compared to some other weeks. The big wrinkles that I noticed personally were a lot of seeds lately. We've had the dragons scaled down, and this one they're not, which pretty standard with open world. The biggest thing that stands out to me aside from open world is the enemy ability scaling, because it's on scale random, and I can't remember the last time I saw scale random in action, so that's going to be interesting because they're not going to have any clue what's going to get thrown at them here.
Yeah, scale random is interesting. It's one we don't often use because there isn't much prep for it. It can really wreck your day if you're not following along with the scaling, and even sometimes if you are out level the scaling, you'll get hit by a random ultima or something fun. So it's definitely going to be interesting. We'll see how they handle it. The party average level scaling makes it a little easier to digest, which also means that they're going to be able to do every free check that they want. It's not going to affect enemy scaling at all, and it can provide a lot of free characters, espers, and items to hopefully help them on their way.
And another thing that will help with that too, especially with open world, is the no Ultima flag that is usually on is off this week. So we could see Ultima somewhere on there, especially if one of our runners goes to Narsh right away, picks up that cursed shield with the Cyan and Realm start that we're starting to see as they're off here, and goes to town on it.
That's right, we're off. Yeah, there are several quick checks here in the World of Balance. As a matter of fact, I think you can probably get through this whole seed in World of Balance if you really wanted to. That said, that check in Narsh for the Curse Shield is going to pay dividends in this seed because we happen to know that it's a low number to uncurse, and it will provide that spell Ultima, as you said. We're seeing a theme here, two different themes, I guess. 2 people going straight for Narsh, and 2 people going straight for Terra's check, the Imperial base, the Imperial base, which contains this big treasure room, and we're seeing almost frame for frame here between Ficta and Drew, which is pretty interesting.
Yep, and there's a Valiant Knife and Aegis Shield in those 2 chests. I was just about to say this base does not look particularly good, and then Ficta picking up those 2 chests right next to each other that basically give all the value of the base right in one.
Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing when I went through. I thought, well, this room is a load of garbage. Oh, okay, never mind, thanks. And there's actually quite a bit of good stuff in the old cave here. Well, at least including the treasure room, including the fixed dice they just found. Those may come in super handy.
Yeah, they've got a lot of really good options already. Just the Valiant Knife and fixed dice already means that I really expect they're going to want to try and hunt down those monster in a boxes, try and get that guaranteed offering off of Katana Soul as well now that they have 2 different items that sort of synergize with it.
Yep, although there are offerings for sale if they do find them and they give the money. I believe they're in the Narsh Relic Shop, which we'll see shortly here, I'm sure. Having a little problem on Yakko Wacko's screen here. Hopefully you can get that sorted out. He's complaining of technical issues before the race, so hopefully he's able to still go, and we just can't see it.
Yeah, the wonder of live entertainment, as always, is just sometimes something like that goes wrong. And there are those offerings in the Narsh Weapon Shop, and you can see Karant sort of like looking at this sheet like, okay, what can I sell, and grab that offering early on.
Yeah, he might be writing this down for later because he probably knows he doesn't have enough yet. And in the weapon shop, I think no, different weapon shop. There are rods available in this seed as well, if they can find them. I think they've found 2 different shops overall that sell rods, but those are a big boon early in the seed to help you get past those initial bosses.
Yeah, the theme of this so far seems to be there's a lot that will just carry you through every part of the seed as long as you actually go and hunt for it right at the start.
And our first check is a dead one. The old sealed gate coughed up a behemoth suit, so won't help with our progress. It's a decent item. It'll definitely help out, but it's not going to make any waves here, so on to the next one. And Kurant looks like he's either forgotten his Moogle Charm or he's hoping to do some very early grinding, which, you may want to get some more gear first, but I understand the want to grind early.
Yeah, we have also seen Yakko Wacko finding Setzer up at the top of Narsh here. The great question of Setzer or Thunder Rod.
Well, considering Setzer has GP Rain in this seed, I might consider the Thunder Rod, but actually this is a good pickup. Characters are not in any of the super quick and easy locations in this seed, just unfortunately. So this is actually a pretty good play. It'll give them an extra character early, as we see in Colingen down on Kurant's screen that check was a force shield.
Yep, and then up on Ficta's side, probably going to make you happy there. He just went and bought a dragon horn from the relic shop in Zen.
All right.
And Zen has pearl lances too. Wonderful.
Unfortunately, nobody can equip them, at least nobody he has yet. And I know Sign cannot equip the fixed dice, though Realm can, but he found some rods. He's going to buy a few. That's where those rods were. Looks like did he buy that? Oh, I don't think he bought the pearl lance.
He did pick up one pearl lance just to be safe, but I don't think he has... I mean, you might as well pick one up if they're only 20k at that point.
Let's see. Druth not finding much. He just picked up a Genji shield in Albrook, but not much else. Ficta getting some more safety rods here. See what he does with that. There are lots of free checks to get. There's Gao Manor. There is the basement in South Figaro. There's the Figaro Castle throne that Kurant just picked up, found Rama at, or Ramu. Actually, I forgot to go there. That was one of the only quick and free check that I neglected to do in my run. So I'm curious what Rama has on it. Actually, I might be able to tell. No.
Yeah, based on the notes that we have by our wonderful trackers, Ramu not particularly interesting in this seed, unfortunately.
What else we got going on? Ficta's doing some more shopping, found something else he likes. Didn't see where he is, though. And Drulith doing the sell-off as well. Yakko Wacko checking out South Figaro. And Kurant is off. Also, I think we're going to converge on South Figaro here.
Yeah, it's just a lot of shopping going on, as you'd expect early on in a seed like this. You know, you can find rods somewhere if you haven't already. You know, you can possibly find a whole bunch of other really good stuff just sitting around. There's no like, tiered items or anything like that, so I just kind of expect that everyone's going to do a lot of shopping and then start hitting up those free checks along the way.
The experience eggs for sale in South Figaro Relic Shop. Now those are interesting for this particular seed because enemy scaling is party average level. So they do sort of scale with you. However, if you offset it, if you just put one egg on somebody, or 2 out of 4, something like that, you can have 2 characters over level the scaling and then they're super powerful as well. Or you can choose just to not use them, or you can, YOLO strats and put it on everybody and then just hope the scaling doesn't kill you. But as we mentioned earlier, with scaled random on, it forces a lot of weird stuff like Ultimas and Mertens and things like that. So it's they're gonna have to decide what they want to do with it. We see the South Figaro Dungeon Celis check there is another dead check.
Yeah, I feel like this scaled random plus party average level scaling, while it's better for open world to have party average level, it kind of is going to encourage them to keep their levels as low as possible and maybe benefit people who are more confident in doing that final Kefka fight at a much lower level than the others.
Yeah, that's true. I think around level 40 is when the bad stuff really starts happening, like the Ultimas and the Mertens and whatnot. So if they can keep it under there, they should have a relatively easy time. But if they make use of those experience eggs, we're going to see some fireworks, I think. Although I got lucky in my run, I think I got one character all the way up to like level 57, and I never saw a single Ultima come out. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you generally don't want to see it, I would imagine, but you never know. There could be someone who's just looking for a bit of excitement in their day, as Ficta finding that Colingen check, another dead one, and unfortunately Force Shield, so one of the dead checks.
Yeah. Better than a Genji helmet, I guess.
By default.
Still a whole lot of shopping going on, looting and whatnot.
I think that's the interesting question to me with this opening is who's going to be the first person to break from doing all the free checks to go and check something else? Because you have to expect that most players playing this seed are going to want to do basically all of those free checks as soon as humanly possible. And I want to see if someone wants to take a risk and start on other checks, thinking, maybe there's something here that's hidden that others won't get to as quickly.
Yep, I have a feeling since he found those rods that I would guess it's going to be Ficta. I think he is the most ready. I'm not sure if Drew has the offense yet, but we were hearing before the race that a couple of the runners have their path that they're going to go through, and so that I don't know what that is. It may include a couple fights. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I know Drew sold a lot of things, bought a lot of rods early on as well. I'm not sure if he has quite as many, but I know he definitely has a few.
Okay, I missed him getting the rods, so then we'll have to see. Looks like Ficta is indeed going after this Velt check. Now, it's curious, I didn't see him go to Narsh, and one pro tip out there for people watching is if you get the Curse Shield, these Velt fights count towards uncursing it. And if you haven't fought anything yet in the game, you can just do Lobos over and over if you want, and get a quick free Paladin Shield.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen anyone go to pick up that Curse Shield yet, which is
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's just the whole open world thing. It slips your mind. You might see Ficta go in there now. Indeed he is. I wonder if he's listening. Ficta, you can't listen to the stream. That's cheating. Turn it off. Oh, Karant found Valiant Knives for sale. That'll come in really handy later if he finds some Genji gloves, or he also found the offering, so as soon as he finds somebody who can equip Valiant Knives, which we know Cyan can, but find other characters, he can have mega offense in late game if he chooses to go that route.
Yeah, he's got a lot of probably very interesting to him options at this point in time, because you have to figure that he's seen a lot of the things that you would normally value that are really expensive, and now he has to sort of choose. I don't think anyone else has seen as many of those expensive, high value items yet.
Don't think so. So Yako's opting to do the Serpent Trench, which is an interesting strategy early on, considering I don't think he's made it through all the way through the free checks. And also, I was going to say he doesn't have the Curse Shield, and this would be especially useful for as well. But it's not a particularly quick check, and there are many quicker checks available. But then again, as mentioned, some runners do have their routes that they'd like to stick to. I did the same thing when I did mine. I kind of made a plan before because open world provides that choice paralysis, and sometimes you just can't make a decision and you get stuck, and then you end up making bad decisions. So it could be just sticking to what he planned before the race.
Yeah, my other concern about the Serpent Trench, too, is with party average level scaling, where he's not running from this. I had thought that maybe he'd found smoke bombs somewhere, and I hadn't noticed, and where we have the all-escapable flag on, he was just going to run from everything. But he's getting a lot of pretty high XP value things down here, and that's not going to be good for him long term.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. Ficta's taking on Gogo's Triangle Island Zone Eater check first. This is an interesting play. Nothing wrong with it. I just not one of the first one that comes to my mind. I think most people don't like it because of the chancellors down on the platform. So we'll have to see how he fares against those.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of the people who's on team literally anything else first, so it's an interesting play to me.
Might be a good play if nobody else goes there and there's something good here. Let's see. I can check. First, I have to find Zone Eater. We know it's going to be an Esper. So hopefully it's a good Esper. It is not. Anyway, counts towards scaling. I mean, counts towards progress, I should say.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering, too, if he might just be thinking that this is definitely, like you said, one of the things that no one else is going to do. Maybe it's worth doing ahead of time, but I almost feel like now that I mentioned that and then thought about it since I mentioned it, that might not even necessarily be the best idea in a seed like this, where you're not getting like new checks unlocked by doing it. You're kind of just investing time no matter what.
Right. Yeah, I think the open world strategy should always just be do the absolute fastest ones and do the ones closest together. And I think you can't go too wrong with that. But then again, there are varying levels of game knowledge and experience and things, and if you're just more comfortable the other way, then you should stick to what you're comfortable with. But it's something, an area where improvement can be made anyway.
Yeah, it's always what scared me a bit off of these sorts of open world seeds is just the sheer amount of routing knowledge, and also the sheer number of dead checks you can find because you're not gated down that one route, as we found that Serpent Trench did end up giving a Dragon Horn.
Yep, which is an awesome item, especially when you have a character with natural jump. But we also know they're for sale, they're relatively cheap, and it doesn't help you progress. So not what you really want to find there. However, I don't hate it. I will never hate a Dragon Horn. Matter of fact, I used one in my run when I already had an offering, and I lost myself a few minutes just for the memes.
Sometimes that's important.
I think so. You gotta keep them entertained. Julith headed up to Mount Zozo. Looks like he's doing some fights along the way to try to probably uncurse that shield.
Yeah, you have to figure the couple people who've gone up, checked that cursed shield, and seen that it's 7 are like, okay, well, I just need to do some of these fights while I'm on the way, and I've won the entire seed, so...
Yep. Yeah, 7's a good number. The single digits are always what you want to see. In double digits, it starts to get, you have to make the decision, do you want to invest the time? Granted, I think this seed turned up, at least for me, 4 ribbons, all in early game, so... It's not that big of an issue to just keep it on, but typically, if you don't have that protection, then you really have to make that decision if you want to invest the time in it, and usually in double digits, I don't. Looks like Mount Zozo is also dead.
This has not been very friendly on what's at the end of these checks, and now we're seeing Yakko Wacko doing this Imperial base check, which... This is still the old version of the randomizer. It was recently updated to version 0.9, which did change this check. So you'll only have the extra fights here if it's a character.
And it is. definitely a character you like to see. Terra being one of the better characters in the randomizer, just purely off of stats and the gear that she can equip. Also, I think in this seed she has Runic, which is a pretty good ability as well. So this is a good place to go. I certainly wish I hadn't declined to go here.
Yeah, I mean it's quick if it's good encounters too, and I think you can run from these encounters again because the all escapable is on. He's choosing not to, which is probably just wanting to get that XP for the tower later on more than anything.
Yep. Ooh, looks like Drulith took a wipe there to some ninjas. Didn't notice where he was. I think he had just got enough Mount Zozo. I'm not sure if he had warped out yet, or if he's going to have to do that. Well, he probably will elect to not do that again since it was dead. He went to the belt. He's good.
Yeah, I don't think he has warp stones yet, so I think he had to reset out of it, so just ended up not bothering at all. Oh, actually, how far back is the save, thinking about it? Because if he had not yet gone to Nourish, this could be bad.
I didn't see a curse. Yep, he's going to have to go get that curse shield again. So, yeah, that's a fairly significant time loss, at least in terms of, trying to win the overall race. It only loses you a couple minutes in the long run, so no big deal. But when you're fighting for seconds at the top, that's not what you don't want.
Yeah, it's just, I save overly compulsively just solely because I'm afraid something like that will happen. So,
yep, yeah, I used to throw caution to the wind, and once I thought I was pretty much good, I would rarely save, and then you hit that doom gaze, and it's like, oh, my whole party was a multiple of 5. That's fun, and then you lose 40 minutes, and you never do that again.
Yeah, I mean, it does help that he knows not to go up Mount Zozo again because there's no real point, but...
Yeah. I don't think he found anything interesting along the way either, so... Yeah, just on to the next one, basically. The only time he's losing is those curse shield fights. Because he was doing them along the way up to the top of the mountain there. Alright, so Yako made it through with a Terra. What's Ficta up to? Looks like he was maybe doing some more shopping. Oh, interesting play. He's going Phoenix Cave. One of the longer checks, but it is free. It does have a decent amount of treasure along the way, so this will be interesting to see, although I guess I could just look ahead and see what it is, but I won't tell you.
Yeah, he is fairly locked into this strategy of just literally every free check, and then I'll do everything else afterwards. And
it's really not the worst play, considering you can have espers that grant you all sorts of spells, you can get all kinds of good items, and then all your fights are trivial. However, a lot of these free checks are long, so we'll see how it works out.
They're long, and the only thing I can think of too that would be maybe in Yakko Wacko's strategy a little bit is he could be just trying to sort of get a few early levels so that when he starts killing bosses after doing free checks, they're scaled up to a higher level and he gets a bit more XP out of them to try and sort of angle himself into the Kefka fight a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, that's a little bit of a risky strategy to me here.
Yeah, if dragons were scaled, which there are or not?
They are not.
They're not. Okay, so I was going to say, do all the free ones and then tackle a few dragons and solve your problem, but yeah, if they're unscaled, then can't really do that. Also, it's good to just get a few levels at the beginning, even if you're going to scale up the enemies a little bit. You're extremely weak at level 3, level 5. Like, you don't have enough MP to cast spells. Even if you find an Illumina, you don't have enough MP for the crits, so you have to get some levels in there just to make yourself useful. Unless, of course, you find Super Balls, and a lot of them, but that's about the only situation.
And if you're looking for that one really good Esper, I mean, everyone did the Velt check. Velt check gave Phantom, which has Life 3, Fire 3 on it. That Fire 3 alone would get you through offense if you didn't have Ultima at your disposal once you get the Cursed Shield fights down. So I don't know what you would be looking for before you start taking fights at that point.
Yeah. Drew with a quick one shot on the Yeti there. He's going to be upset at the reward. But at least it was quick. And I have a feeling he saw that the old man was waiting at the Yeti spot, and that's where he's going to get his third character.
You know, the snow muffler is at very least thematically appropriate there.
True. It's certainly not a bad item to find. It's just, it's not an Esper.
It's a good, solid second best armor.
Alright, so we're at the end of the Phoenix Cave with Ficta, and he picks up the Bahamut Esper, which I believe is unnotable.
Yeah, and in the seed without multi-summon on, definitely even less notable than it could be otherwise.
Yep, true. But that one cast is going to be awesome. If you can even afford it.
At this point, I do not believe he has any chance whatsoever of affording it, because I don't think I've seen him in a single fight yet, and we're 25 minutes into the seed.
Yeah. So we also saw that the thief in the woods there in Zen is also dead, providing another experience egg. Pretty easy fight at the Yeti spot to pick up the old man. Here's a Kefka fight.
This seed is really wanting to mess with you on that average level scaling. 2 different shops that sell experience eggs, 2 different checks that have experience eggs behind them. Really wants you to just get those.
I say go for it. It's a lot more fun up there.
If you have all 4 experience eggs and you get enough fights, eventually you'll pass that 50 that we have set to the enemy max level anyways, and it'll be fine.
Yep. It's a viable strategy. If you have, 8,000 HP, who cares about an Ultima? So Yakko's still taking fights, but looks like he's still trying to uncurse that shield. I'm just curious if he's grinding in place or if he's doing this on the way to somewhere.
I think he's grinding in place, but I could be wrong. I am wrong.
Yeah, looks like he's on his way up the mountain.
Always how it is. The one moment you think you know the answer, it's never right.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not like there's a bunch of people watching and listening to you.
Anyways, beyond my crippling anxiety now.
Don't worry. I think we've got a strong turnout from the Worlds Collide Discord here. They know what's up.
Arant finding that zone seek there and finding the option of the other experience egg, and I'm not surprised he took the Esper.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I think even in a progress ×3 seed. Although interestingly, in open world, all you have to do is go do that Welk fight, and you can get whatever the other thing is anyway. So it's pretty easy to get both in this particular situation. Well,
yeah,
if he knows that, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm wondering if anyone's going to do that, though, because I feel like we've been pretty light on characters so far, and I know you'd mentioned that the seed is pretty rough on characters, like finding characters in general. And I kind of feel like if you're going to do the Welk fight in an open world seed, you kind of want to bundle it with Lone Wolf and Kefka at Narsh, and you kind of want the full party for whatever's at Kefka at Narsh. So I'm not entirely sure you're going to see that we'll see anyone going for that.
Yep, I think you're right. They're good to bundle together. That was part of my strategy as well. But Welk is one of the quicker checks, so it wouldn't surprise me to see people go for it. But yeah, you're right. We'll have to see if they make those plans. So we know Yakko went all the way up to do the Lone Wolf check, but I don't think he did Kefka at Narsh. and I don't think he did. I didn't see if he did Welk or not. I don't think so, but he might go back. We'll see.
He did not. He's really only been taking fights at those fixed encounter spots. So that's a very interesting difference there. You know, Drulith has gone up a lot of the free checks. Victa's gone up a lot of the free checks. Yakko has gone for basically everything that has fixed encounters at it. So it's an interesting contrast there.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain the idea is get experience points along the way before the boss fights, which, you know, I can't fault him too much for that, but with the amount of XP you get from bosses and things, I wouldn't call it necessary. However, some runners, you know, they have a style, they have confidence levels, so can't fault them for it. It's just, like you said, kind of counter to what most runners do. Just
and
by
on
the nature of
Karan's
them
side,
being
it's
long.
just been a lot of shopping. And speaking of shopping, he just found a gem box to add to his list of really expensive things that might be nice to have.
Saw some rods in the shop there, but opted to not take any. Maybe, I don't know if you got fire rods elsewhere already, but rods are definitely something you want to invest in early game, especially when you have Realm.
Yeah, I didn't see whether or not he got any of those rods, mostly because while he's just been shopping, I kind of been focusing on everyone else because I know what's going to be in most of these shops already, thanks to the wonderful work of Franklin, who helps out with the tracking, as well as Ceiling Cat behind the scenes today.
Shout out to trackers. Let's see if somebody programmed our bot. Nope.
Maybe next week.
Well, you should do a search in Twitch for their names and then go follow them. Dogs, man.
Yep. So interestingly enough, Victa went and did that Welk check, and well, at least the Welk spot. I just noticed that he had picked the experience egg over Zone Seek.
Interesting. Yeah, so he's planning on making a run to Welk, I would guess that means. I mean, especially if you can always save it till the end, and then you know where your last Esper is.
Yeah, he went and picked it up, and I'm wondering if his long plan there was, I'll take that experience egg early on. I maybe even was planning on selling it, and then I'll just go and get what I need later.
Yep. Saw the Yeti making use of his jump mechanic, but since Yakko employed the Phantom Esper, he just landed. He didn't jump on anybody. It's kind of uneventful.
Very disappointing, unfortunately.
Is Karant doing the Coliseum right now?
He sure is, and right now he's betting a green cherry for a gold hairpin.
Huh. Interesting. Making use of that dragon horn, best item in the game. There's proof.
It's not really getting great stuff out of this play, though. Thief Glove, basically worthless.
Yeah.
Gold hairpin, not really that useful. I mean, it's great if you're spamming Ultima, but
Right.
you're probably going to have enough MP at that point.
Yeah, and considering he found at least two different rods for sale, I think the play here is just buy the rods and go break them, because there's not a whole lot you're going to find here that's going to do you a whole lot of good when you know there's a Paladin shield available, and all those free checks that we were doing turned up all sorts of shields. So I don't care for the play. However, it is interesting to see what he's going to come up with.
I think it's a play that makes a lot more sense if you're in a character-gated seed and you don't know what you're going to be able to find in chests. But if you don't have anything in a open world seed, I feel like the play at that point is just sort of flex your plan a little bit and go for some of the more treasure-dense checks and just get things through that.
Yep, agreed. Let's see. I know. So earlier, I didn't mention it, but Drew tried the old search the skies, and floating around was a big spicy chicken, which I think wiped him. Definitely don't want to see that early game. So we know there's a chicken flying around the world. looks like Drulith is now, he went up and got Setzer from the Lone Wolf check and is now doing Kefka and Marsh. And Ficta was just checking out the Esper Cave for it was an Esper. It's around here somewhere. Esper Mountain. Bismarck. Which has Cure 3 on it.
I guess that's an okay pickup.
I like it. It's a quick check. Decent Esper. I mean, the Esper itself sucks. Bismarck is probably one of the most useless Espers in the game, but Cure 3 is nice. Found the Kieran Esper in the Phantom Train there, which I think is not notable either. And so he's going to reset out of it.
I kind of agree with that. I was thinking, okay, it's sort of weird that your first thought for your first check is going to be to go to Phantom Train, but I guess his line of thought there was just, I can just reset out of it if it's not anything good.
Drulith was going for the old soldier skip there at Kefka Narsh, but mistimed it and hit that rider. But shouldn't be any issue here, and then on to the Bouse.
Yeah, that's just one less fight on his cursed shield for him at this point. Well, that's really one less fight on his cursed shield for him at this point.
Bye, Ultros. See, Ficta's going to go pick up Terra. Shouldn't have a rough time doing it either, so he's making some progress here. His strategy so far is paying off. He's in sheer numbers in the lead right now.
Yeah, but he's done all those fast checks. Some of the others have not done some of the checks that are quite as fast as that, so they could catch up pretty quickly here if they start just committing to those.
Undoubtedly. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Ooh, this may not end well for him either. Ooh, 5 HP left. Time to run, Ficta. Scar Beam is kind of it's not a very powerful attack, but when you're, level 3 or 5 or whatever he is, it hurts. Ooh, it looks like he's not gonna make it. Yeah, there's a reset. Yeah, he has to remember he can run from any encounter that's not a boss you can run from, so I make use of that mechanic.
Yeah, I feel like the second I see that all escapable flag, I'm looking for smoke bombs anywhere, because just you can ignore anything that goes on in these fixed encounter checks just by throwing a smoke bomb, running away.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can prioritize something like a Serpent Trench in that case. However, I'm assuming the thought process here is he wanted the experience since he doesn't have any yet. But yeah, I think this, in the situation where you're taking a Scar Beam to the face and left with 5 HP, just hightail it. I'm not sure if Drew's stream is frozen or if he's taking a potty break. It can't be a stream because the flames are still going.
Sometimes you just need to sit there and bask in the glow of picking up Maduin at that Welk check.
He's a big fan. Starstruck.
I mean, he should be a big fan because based on our notes, that has Ice 3 and Merton on it.
Nice. He might have been perhaps had an issue with his SNES. I noticed that he had some color shifting going on there, so maybe it was a hardware thing. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're moving. I know he uses a console with a flash card or whatever instead of an emulator, so that provides its own set of challenges.
Very fancy. If my setup for that hadn't kicked the bucket a few years ago, I probably would consider doing the same, but too much effort for me personally.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. All right, Karant making his way up Mount Zozo. Drill's going to go check out Tunnel Armor spot.
I think he's the first person to go for the Tunnel Armor spot too, unless I missed it on someone else's stream. Or Yakko Wacko, I guess, might be going there right now as well.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I neglected to do this one as well, which I now regret, but, you know, make a plan and stick to it. Sometimes not the best idea.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the open world thing, is you really, really want to just stick with that one plan, but it's almost always going to be a battle of who can be the most flexible with what you get.
Yeah. I mean, there are, 50 checks you can do in this game, so there's undoubtedly going to be some that don't pay dividends, and there are going to be some that are great, some you just miss, so... You know, that's why open world is not my preferred style to run. There's just it's a crapshoot. Like, basically, whoever gets the luckiest with their picks is the winner. In some cases. Now, granted, you can make a strategy and go for the ones that take the least amount of time and things like that. But there's still the random element of you picked all the fastest checks, but they were all dead. So, yeah, I much prefer character gating. However, I'm not the only player. Some people like open world, and also it's good for variety, so I'm cool with it.
Certainly provided several different ways of routing. You've had Ficta with his very, very strict, free checks only, then fixed and counter checks only, then this only way of going through it. You had Drulith, who's been a little bit more, I don't want to say dynamic in the way he's picked things, but he's been a little bit more flexible. Yakko Wacko taking all those fights early on, and Karant, who shopped for half an hour and is now going to see if he can turn that into rolling through everything else quite quickly.
See how Yakko deals with Goddess here. Druith was already making use of the Valiant Knife and Offering. I'm not sure Yakko has found the Offering. Or maybe just not using it yet. Who knows? Valiant Knife, at this point, you can start using it. When your HP is starting to get into the thousands, but early game, it's really not a great weapon. It's just not a whole lot of damage to be had there. Still useful if you've run into things that require you to break their defenses, but as for damage output, not great.
Yeah, and it's even when it starts doing good damage early on, it can be a bit scary, because often when you're at that sort of 1000 HP threshold is also when enemies are starting to hit you pretty hard, just based on the scaling. So it's kind of a double-edged knife in this case, that you don't necessarily want to be at a low enough HP to take advantage of that Valiant Knife right now.
Right. Well, I noticed Yakko found Celis, so made it through Goddess. We'll have to guess as to what the next move is here. Ficta headed up to... what's this thing? Tritalk fight to fight the Yeti. Presumably going on for the old man at the Yeti spot.
Yep, and that'll catch him up to the same 6-5 that Drulith has, and push him just ahead of Yakko, who's at that 6-4 as well. But I think Drulith's in a little bit better of a position right now.
Just a bit, but his Valiant Knife user just got muddled. So that's gonna hurt a little bit.
Well, thankfully or unthankfully, he died right after, so that might actually be for the better there.
Yep. Yeah, that could have been worse.
Hey, at least he gets to come back at low HP all ready to go, so...
Yeah, it's not a bad thing with the Valiant Knife user. A Phoenix down is your best friend. Although I find with this game, I'm sure everybody finds with this game, it often targets the person who just got the Phoenix down in the very next turn, seemingly every time.
I've noticed that, and I've just assumed that it was some sort of confirmation bias, that is just so annoying when it happens that it sticks in your mind, but I'm pretty sure there's just, the game actually does dislike you trying to revive people.
It's got to be programmed in there somewhere. happens all too often. So after some early game stumbles, Drew is powering right through, finding all the characters. But Ficta not far behind, about to pick up his 5th. And then Yakko is hot on their tail, and Kurant doing pretty well as well. He's going to, provided he makes it through the fight, have another Esper on his hands. So everybody doing pretty well so far. And only 43 minutes in, these are some good numbers.
That is a good question too. You know, would you rather be like of those 3 different states? Obviously, the 6-5 and the 6-4 are roughly the same. But would you rather have one of those, or would you rather have the 4 espers and 6 characters like Yakko has?
Well, since we're not gated, having more characters up front isn't as important. However, there are a lot more espers out there, so if you fill up your characters early, you can then start just bailing out of checks that you see as a character. So, I mean, I guess you can still do the same thing for espers, be it on the other hand, but just characters are harder to find. So, I guess knowing that you're almost done with characters is what I would prefer up front.
Yeah, and of course now Drulith has hit that 6-6 as well, so it's pretty much a moot point at this point.
Yakko's taking on the Magitech factory. It'll be interesting to see if he goes all the way to the end or not. My guess is he will. He's going down to check for all the treasure. Found a Mirage vest, it looked like, through that Mirage there, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, and I kind of expect him to just go all the way through the Magitech factory just with what he's done so far. He's liked those fixed encounter checks, you know. At this point, what's he got left? He's got Magitech factory, floating continent, and burning house. That's it. So might as well go for one of them.
Yeah, might as well. And that was my thinking too. Since he's done them all so far, he's probably going to do it again. It's been working out so far. Not terribly anyway. We're about to see Chatternut go down in record time. Fire rods and Valiant knives. Pretty much all you need for this game. I mean, really all you need is Valiant knives.
Fire rods, Valiant knives, and Ultima on the way now that he's uncursed that shield too, so...
Although you can't swing a Valiant knife if you're dead. So, record time, not as much. But still shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, just a second or two behind record's not bad.
I'm actually surprised it's not dead yet. He's put some solid damage out there, so... What else is going on here? So, Kurant's also in the Magitech factory. Ficta's doing the Cave on the Veldt for his 7th Esper. And I happen to know this is a good Esper, especially if you're carrying around a Valiant Knife. Because this Esper will provide HP plus 100%. And some other crap I can't remember.
Yeah, but the HP 100%'s, fine enough on its own in this situation. Having ice rods and ice 3 ready to throw at Ifrit is pretty good prize too.
Yep, he won't last long. This should do it. Down he goes. Where's Drew off to? He's gonna go do Barren Falls.
Yeah, he's just sort of going through all that little complex of sort of Sabin scenario from vanilla game checks.
Yep, that's a good cluster to do in open world since they're all very close to each other, and most of them are pretty quick, with the exception of Phantom Train. But at least with Phantom Train, you see what you get early, and you can decide if you really want to do it or not.
The answer in this case is probably not.
Is no. Got Inferno waiting, falling down the everlasting waterfall. Actually, one of those characters you don't necessarily want to see when you have an offering. Shouldn't be really too big of an issue, but multi-target checks, with the offering, not good.
Yeah, it might not be as bad as it normally would be with that scaled random kind of preventing the scarier parts of when you knock out one of Inferno's arms accidentally, but definitely not what you want to see.
He should be fine, though. Let's see. Ficta's taking a stop back at Narsh. Might just be going. I think he's just going to heal up. And we got double kills on Courant and Yakko's screen. Both in the Magitech factory, but I think we're at two different bosses here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just getting to that first boss. Yakko is at the second one. We're about to that moment of truth of whether or not we see the luxurious and beautiful Mode 7 minecart ride.
When he's going for it. So Ficta just checked the Fanatics Tower to peek at what's there, and it was not a character, so he's opting to move on. Check out Mobliz, which is another one you can check ahead of time, so I see a strategy here, and I like it. Do all the free checks, and then do all the checks, you know what the reward is. Just gotten unlucky on a few of them. Got the Fenrir Esper at Mobliz, which is a great pickup, especially in this seed, where that's going to be likely your only calmness protection. Although I guess some people found a Life 3 Esper.
Everyone found that Life 3. It was on the Phantom at the start, but,
Right,
if you're going to have the two, you might as well have the one that's one cast instead of four.
Sure. Yeah. Life 3 can also be easily dispelled. You have to keep recasting it if somebody dies in the interim. It's definitely the slowest form of calmness protection, but certainly better than nothing.
And that's interesting too, because I feel like a lot of people fade this Mobley's check. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the only person who finds it.
Apparently found a Thunder Shield there too, which is a good pickup. Especially if you want to cast Merton, which I know people have. Unnecessary when you have everything else that he's got, but it's fun.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to pick between Ultima and Merton strats, might as well pick the flashier one that has, I think, a slightly faster animation too.
Yeah, Merton definitely faster than Ultima. It's just, when things are immune to fire. Otherwise, yeah, go with Merton if you can. If you have the setup, of course.
Rulith is now in this Esper cave where we found that Bismarck earlier, so he's going to be at 9 Espers, 6 characters pretty soon here. So he's starting to come to the end of his hunt. Really pulled ahead here.
Yep, he'll be well on his way shortly. I don't foresee him having many other issues. The big issue that people are going to have, because most of the seed now especially is kind of a cakewalk, being that we have Paladin Shields and Ultimas and Rods and everything else. The big issue for this big surprise is going to be Kefka's Tower when they run into a couple of those Blit party bosses in the end. I don't want to give it away just yet, but I'm curious to see how they deal with those.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was thinking too, is you think of difficult bosses, and of those, we've only really seen 2. We've only seen Goddess and we've seen Fire Chicken. There's still a lot of potentially scary stuff out there. We haven't seen Magimaster yet. We haven't seen Doomgaze yet, as an example. There's plenty of things that could throw them off that could just still be lurking in that tower.
And I can't wait.
I will say this is a very fitting place to find Phantom Train.
Yeah, well, Phantom Train on the rails there. It makes sense. Let's see, Ficta's checking out. Are we in World of Ruin here?
I think so. Didn't he already do Tunnel Armor?
Nope, doing it right now. That was
I need to
Bounce.
stop guessing things because I have not been right about a single one of them so far tonight.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's interesting to see Ficta so high in the count here, but his HP is laughably bad. So you can tell he's been doing a whole lot of free checks and avoiding a lot of fights. So hopefully, I mean, he'll get enough XP to be able to take out some dragons if that's the way he wants to go. But he's gonna have to step it up a little bit here.
It's also the time investment for dragons at this point in time because, you know, he's already done a lot of the checks that have dragons on them. I believe he was one of the ones who climbed up Narsh in the World of Ruin. So that dragon's already out. He already did Mount Zozo, to my knowledge, so that one's out. A lot of the easy checks you can do while going for a dragon are kind of out at this point, so he's going to have to actually go out of his way for those.
True. Yeah, Mount Zozo isn't a terrible one to double dip. It's certainly not efficient, certainly not the fastest thing, but it's probably faster than going back up Mount Narsh Mountain, whatever you call it. Or maybe he'll, there's always the chance that he just has enough naturally before he finds the next one character and 2 espers as well. And you can always hit Durgan. So what's sleeping there? What was sleeping there at Daryl's tomb? That's going to be, there's Magic Master. That'll be fun. Terato.
Yeah, this is probably not going to be a very difficult Magi Master with that Valiant Knife.
And I wonder if he's learned Ultima yet. Doesn't look like, at least not on Strago yet. But yeah, that's the only issue is when you never know what he's going to do. It shouldn't be a big problem, but Magimaster's spell power is huge. His physical defense is huge, so that's really all he's got at this point, and he's just going to need to keep him alive. So I have no doubt he's going to make it through it, but won't be a cakewalk. Then again, this meteor should probably do a lot of damage considering his spell power. Yeah, so he's in trouble.
Yeah, because
not sure he saved right before this either.
Yeah, I hope he did. His strategy seemed to be just keep runicking with Terra and get through it, and then that 1-2 punch just sort of ended that.
Scale random. So yeah, I guess we'll find out if he saved. I didn't see him save, but I can't guarantee he didn't. He did not. That's rough. But plenty of other checks in the sea, so just go find another one. It's gonna go take another run at the spicy chicken.
Yeah, at this point in time, you might as well. It's not like he's particularly scary once you can just blast him down with Valiant Knives. Honestly, I have a hard time calling any of these bosses particularly worrisome outside of that little 1-2 punch that happened with Magi Master.
Yeah, I mean, the problem remains he doesn't have a whole lot of offense because he hasn't learned Ultima yet, and he can't use fire, which is the rest of his offense. So it's basically just about keeping Cyan alive. He just life 3'd him, which will help. But again, these in-game bosses their stats are super high, and when you're scaling all this random nonsense in there, it can really hurt.
Yeah,
of course, going to be a elite fixed die roll will definitely help.
Yep. I mean, he had that. I was kind of wondering why he wasn't using that on Magi Master 2, but I think at that point in time he was kind of just in a recovery mode to try and fix the issues he was having.
Yeah. So Ficta is indeed going back to Mount Zozo. I can't guarantee he's been here once already. He may not have come up this way. So still hasn't uncursed that shield we see. so he definitely hasn't been taking a lot of fights preparing this Phoenix down. Setzer in this seed is useless, so definitely swap him out for a different character. I did in fact swap him out, but he doesn't bring much to the table here. I wouldn't worry about keeping him alive and just kill the thing.
Yeah, and that's really important to note too, and how much of a concern that might be for Kefka's Tower. You know, he's at 9 Espers, 6 characters, and he hasn't done 7 fights to uncurse the curse shield.
It's kind of funny.
It's honestly quite impressive.
It is, really, because he's almost in go mode. He hasn't even... Now, it could have been that he maybe forgot to equip the shield early on, or maybe that character has died a couple times, so he might have done more than 7 fights, maybe. But yeah, to make it this late with such crappy HP and not having uncursed to 7 on a curse shield is yeah, like you said, it's impressive.
I suppose there's also a chance that he hadn't found a ribbon yet and just was waiting for that to throw it on so he didn't have to deal with all the other status ailments. Like, you don't really necessarily want muddled cyan hitting your party.
True enough. Maybe so. Does Setzer have this Valiant net? Okay, well that's one use for Setzer. You can make a case for that. Hopefully he equipped that HP Esper that he got earlier on him, and that's why he's keeping him alive. That's a solid case for it. I'm okay with that now. I take back what I said. So Drulith is hitting up the Dirt Durgan in preparation. He's still got one more character to find. Shouldn't take too long. Let's see, where's some character options for Drew?
Well, there's Dream, if you want to do that. There's the whole Ancient Castle sequence. Honestly, when I looked at a lot of these character locations on the sheet, I was like, wow, those are almost all in really bad locations.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at as well. I was just thinking, there are not many quick spots left for characters, and I have to think he's not going to prioritize doing something like Cyan's Dream, which is a 3-part check for only 1 chance for a character. He may go up and do Floating Continent just because there are 2 chances for a character in 1. That's a very long check, and I imagine he's going to do some quicker ones first.
The big quick one that I haven't seen him do that would give a character, just based on what we know, is Mount Colts.
Yeah, that's for whatever reason, it's an unpopular check. People don't often do. It's really not a slow one either. Like I've timed it a few times. It takes just over a minute to get to the boss fight at that check, but it goes undone quite a few times. So I'd be curious to see if he goes and does that one.
I'm also kind of curious if he takes the time out of his day to get Fenrir, which, nope, just gonna run away.
Where is Golem? Somewhere not good, I think.
It's Ebbets Rock.
Oh yeah, nobody's getting that. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's likely that nobody's getting that. Very few people will get that.
Yeah, and again, because this is on the old version of the randomizer, not the new version with the faster and streamlined Ebbets Rock, definitely even less reason to do it.
Yep. Got an annoying piranha fight on Yakko Wacko's screen, and I happen to have done this one myself and know that it's pretty much a max timer on this one too.
It's always fun going to the Floating Continent until you get the sky crabs.
Floating Continent is probably my second least favorite check in the game. It's just so annoying. Not only do you have to sit through 3 fixed encounters and then 2 boss fights before you even land on the stupid island. Yeah, there's so much running around and switch flipping and a bunch of running back and forth nonsense. It's annoying. And then there are cutscenes, and then there's more fights. It's a horrible check, and I don't like it.
Yep, fond memories of last KGP where it seemed to want to continue to force us to do Floating Continent for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. Karanta's right there with him. Karanta and Yakko are making very similar choices today, which is interesting. Seen a, is that a Meteo spell from Rizab? Oh, interesting. Luckily, his spell power is garbage, so it doesn't hurt that much. But curious to see a fish casting meteor. Down he goes.
Is that the Doom in the sky at the end of Magitech Factory? Yakko's at the Piranhas at the start of Floating Continent, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Karant would follow him there.
Yeah, I was thinking they were in the same place because of the background there, but you're right. They're totally different spots. Well, they both still are on the airship, so that counts. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we can say it's roughly the same thing.
So, Karant found Gao, who I believe is at the end of Magitech Factory. Oh, okay. I was going to say, curious that he would not go do the dream immediately, but I think he literally just got Gao, so hasn't had the chance yet.
Yeah, and in his position where he still needs to find at least 3 more characters, might as well just go and do the dream at that point. You're guaranteed 1 chance at a character, 2 chances at espers. Beyond that fits into your plan at this point.
Yeah, I think that should be his next move. Oh, it looks like he was assuming death there for Realm. Going to throw a Phoenix down, but she's, I think, has a Paladin shield. That's the only thing that absorbs Pearl, right?
I don't recall, because I am so used to playing Seeds with like Cursed Shield 32 that I cannot remember the last time I had a Paladin shield.
Oh no! Well, you should make a new seed, because with version 0.9, you can just set how many battles you want that shield to be, and you could give yourself just a 1 for fun. At least with the new settings, so they're now ranges instead of just random percentages, right? So you can set it between 1 and 255 battles. You can drag either side in, so you can make it between 4 and 15, or however you want to do it, which I actually really like, because nobody's going to do it if it's 32 battles, and having it only be 1 or 2 battles is kind of too much of a gimme. So I think it's a nice quality of life improvement.
I feel like over time people will kind of figure out the sweet spot there of what's going to be the best competitive Cursed Shield fight number.
I hope so. I mean, anything higher than like a 15 is just useless, in my opinion. Of course, not everybody who plays this game races. Some people play it casually and may spend a lot more time fighting it out. So, keep it around for sure, but not for me.
Now, Ficta is in the same spot that Drulith is in, and is now sort of following the same, I don't want to say mistakes, but incorrect because of randomness decisions that Drulith made, and that's going to be disappointing for him.
Yeah, it's curious who's going to find it first. So we know there's one. Well, we know there's 2 at Floating Continent. We know there's 1 at Science Dream. We know there's 1 at Mount Colts, and that's probably the easiest one. That's only 4. So where are the other 4 characters?
Mostly behind fixed encounter checks. There's 1 at the Opera House. There's 1 at the Burning House. Basically anything that's a house aside from the 1 house that Drulith is in has a character in it.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting, because I don't foresee them doing any of those checks before checking at least 3 or 4 other spots. Although we may see a Floating Continent play just because they're going to say, okay, Floating Continent has 2 chances for a character in 1 check, I'll just go do it. And then you can grab that character right off the, I think Edgar is the one right from when you land on Floating Continent, and then you can choose to just hop back on the airship to save a little bit of time. That's what I would guess the next play will be. Unless they just randomly happen to go to Mount Colts.
I don't get why people are sleeping so hard on Mount Colts. I mean, it would be over by now.
I didn't do it either, but since I was prioritizing those multi-checks, like I did Floating Continent, Magitech, and Science Dream back to back just to try to make my efficient use of my time, which turned out to not be efficient. I wouldn't recommend it, but I was fine on characters. It just took a while to get there, so I didn't do a lot of the quicker checks.
Yeah, but Drulith and Victor are both very smart players, and I expect that they'll very quickly get their way through these and find the character they're looking for. Drulith obviously sort of a bit ahead on it and basically demonstrating, go to these places where you can see the reward ahead of time so you don't have to worry about anything else later.
Yep, but they're running out of, I think they officially have run out of checks you can peek now. So now they're going to have to guess.
Do I see him hovering over Ebbett's Rock?
No way.
Or was that Zone Eater?
He's at Triangle Island. Yeah, Zone Eater. So Kurant took my advice and is headed off back to Science Dream, where he's going to find a dead check, a shadow, and an Esper, and then make better use of that sword tech. So I like this play. Have to make it through the Stooges first. The random scaling there is certainly no joke.
Yeah, I mean, Stooges are not really much of a joke, even when it's not random scale. They can do some really nasty things if you're not ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
But if he has Ultima already, would have been the ultimate place to use it, because hitting 3 targets that you need to all take down at once basically is 3 times as good as Ultima normally is.
Yeah, except he's using double pearls with the gem box here, so I have to believe. I thought, okay, so he must have the Paladin Shield but hasn't learned Ultima yet, because I'm pretty sure the Paladin Shield is the only thing that absorbs Pearl, and I saw him absorb a Pearl. So he's using Pearls because it got reflected back onto himself. So he must just not have learned Ultima yet. Hopefully is the issue. I'm hoping he didn't not find that Paladin Shield or Curse Shield, and then I'm just wrong about the Pearl absorption, but we'll see. To answer a question in chat, who's closer to go mode? Technically, Ficta and Drulith are tied. Actually, I guess now, well, they both got 1 extra Esper. They are both searching for 1 character. I would say Drew has exhausted more checks, so he's technically closer, but it's really, we're just hoping for one of them to randomly find that last character they need, so whoever stumbles upon it will be in go mode first.
Yeah, and if it takes them an especially long time,
look what we have here. Ficta is doing Mount Colts. So Ficta is technically ahead. But Ficta has prioritized, for those who just joined, Ficta has prioritized doing a bunch of free checks, and avoiding a lot of fights. So his levels are not great, so we'll have to see if he decides to fight some dragons or something to catch up, or if he just goes for it in Kefka's Tower.
Actually, I think the last time he was in his menu, I think he's somehow managed to claw his way up to level 43 on everyone already, so he might be fine.
Oh, wow, how did he do that?
I don't know. I was shocked. I figure I probably read it wrong. Maybe it was level 34, maybe it was level 23, but I could have sworn I saw 43.
Huh, yeah, you could be right. And look at this, Drew is doing Opera House, which is interesting, but I believe you said this turns up another character, so... they're going to be... I think Ficta will have the lead into the tower because this is a quicker check than the Opera House, but they're going to be very close.
Yeah, and then Yakko is not going to be too much further behind. He's doing the Auction House now, which does have 2 Espers tonight, so he'll only need to find that 1 last Esper, and then he'll be ready to go as well.
Kurant's still looking for those characters, but manages to find his 5th one. Senor Behemoth waiting at Mount Colts. Opening Cyclonic, usually not what you want to see, especially when it misses your Valiant Knife user, but shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Yep, and Kurant just found a Minerva in one of the chests in the dreams. That's going to help him out quite a bit.
Oh, nice. I found that one by accident. I got a phone call right when I hit this place and just wandered right in there instead of skipping it like I usually do, and was pleasantly surprised.
So again, make sure to thank whoever was calling at that point in time.
Well, bye-bye, Behemoth. All right, so Ficta will find his last character, but Drew managed to avoid a lot of rats. I think he only caught 2 there, so he'll be right behind. Just got to deal with this little cutscene, and then it's go time.
Yeah, and if this is one of the bosses with a particularly low HP pool, it's really not going to be too much further than that.
And you're right, I do see some level 40s in there on Ficta's screen. Has he been moving that paladin shield around to teach people Ultima? Or he might just be relying on Realm, to be honest. He's got a jumper, a Valiant Knife user, and I don't even remember who his 4th person is or what they do.
I think he was happy enough with just the one and has just sort of left it there at that point.
So yeah, he's making use of an experience egg, which is a good play for a Valiant Knife user. He has lowest level is 39, so he's good to go. And Drulith about to be rewarded here, and then he'll be good to go. So we're probably going to enter the tower right at around the same time. Unless, Ficta might do some last-minute shopping here. Nope, he's going to go straight for it. I like it.
Yep, and then about a minute or so behind is going to be Yakko, who's going up Esper Mountain now, which we know is an Esper from others doing it. So he'll also be at that 10 and 9.
I haven't been paying too close of attention to all the different things people are employing here, but I don't think I've seen a single Ultima cast this from anyone ever. Have you?
I've seen a couple. I want to say I saw a couple on Ficta's side, and definitely on Yakko's side, where he's been using it pretty consistently. It's just he's been going through a lot of non-combat stuff for a while.
Gotcha. Yep, and out came one, so that's good. See, Kurant likely still doesn't have it. He may be avoiding. I still don't know if he has that Paladin shield or not, but it looks like he's not using it at the moment. Maybe to avoid hitting that potential Ultima cast from killing all the Haiden Knights.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary fight in Skilled Random, because Grand Train on its own is terrifying. What it could be replaced with is potentially worse.
Yeah. I don't know if he has access anymore to Fallen One. Fallen One. But that would be pretty great.
I think he might outside of the new version, because I think that change was in the new version.
Yeah, I think you're right. But no matter, he's dead. And now Yakko is in go mode, although I did see that his HP levels were not great. Moon Blizzard, yeah, please ignore. It is week 3. We're just currently unable to edit the description here, so yes, week 3. Open world week. And for those just joining us, I don't know how to make Nightbot do it, but there's a link somewhere in the chat that will happen. And please come check out our Discord. You can run a seed, join a KGP, or just do some asynchronous or casual races or casual runs. So we'd love to see you over there.
This is really going to come down to who has the faster tower setup. And
yeah, they're seconds apart.
I am honestly not sure which one I would pick here.
Yeah, it's going to be super close. They both have a Valiant Knife offering person. They both have Paladin Shield with Ultimas. I don't think Drew found that 100% Esper, so that'll give Ficta a leg up at least with his main offensive person. But Drew has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He's very knowledgeable with the game, so speaking of Fallen One, there it is on Ficta's screen. That's a yikes. But he does have that Valiant Knife, so I think this is going to do it for all that.
Yeah, that was not what you would want to see, but I guess one of the better times to see it is when he's about to die and when you have a Valiant Knife who's gonna love having his HP set down to 1.
Yeah. Probably should heal him up a little bit. Like, I know the temptation to keep him at 1 HP for max damage is great, but you know, well, you can put a Paladin Shield on him. I guess that's yeah, okay. I like it. Go for it. Thanks, Nightbot. You read my mind. Or heard me say it out loud. Either one.
Or both.
Yep, still just seconds apart. What's Yakko up to? Oh, he's in it. Nice. His levels are decent. I saw a level, yeah, he's got 43s and 37s, so it's definitely survivable.
Yeah, he took a different route to the same location, but ended up roughly in the same position, so I guess those fixed encounter checks kind of paid off early, especially where everyone else was going for every possible check except for fixed encounter checks and Mount Colts. So
right. Yeah, and he found some pretty good looking espers there too. I saw Phoenix had a magic power +2 on it, and a lot of stuff that I certainly did not get. So, yeah, good payoff for him here. How's Kurant doing? He's about to pick up a 100% HP Esper for himself here as well. Still looking for those characters. He's going to have to go do, well, he didn't have to, but it would behoove him to go do Floating Continent, where you can pick up 2 characters.
Yeah, he's not too far back. He's obviously a sizable chunk back, but I think he's in pretty good shape. It's about where I think I would be if I were doing this seed. Maybe with a little bit less shopping.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how he tackles his last characters. There's, as we know, as we've seen, there are a whole lot of checks that are not characters, and they're fairly hard to find, so it could take anywhere from another 20 minutes to another hour. We'll just have to see.
Well, here's the worst thing you could run into with with a Valiant Knife offering.
Yeah, I remember this. Luckily, he's got ice rods. I think I was out of them at this point.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what Drulith has for this, because he seems to only have fire rods.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to rely on that Valiant Knife getting lucky. It's doing so much damage. All he really needs to do is luck into like another 1 or 2 hits. Even he might have even done it in this one turn. Who knows? All right, so not this one turn, but if he does one more turn, randomly hit him, I think he's. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll see. It's close. He does not have a whole lot of HP.
Yeah, I was timing it going into this fight too, and they were 10 seconds apart, so this is a pretty unfortunate thing. Flame Eater 2, another thing, but good to have ice rods for.
Yep, shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, Drula took out Rexol with just some lucky knife swings. Unfortunately, you do have to wait for the little guys to go through all the way through their animations before the boss will die, but you know, it's a few seconds.
Answering Moon Blizzard's question in chat, Sabin and Setzer are both at 1 HP because Setzer has the knife and Sabin is kind of just a throwaway character who doesn't have levels that he's not bothering to heal because he doesn't have any reason to.
So Kurant, he's at MOBAs, and I didn't see if he checked first, but he is at max Espers, and he's opting to do this fight anyway for Golem, which not a bad play. I just don't know if he knows that's what it is yet.
I don't think he checked, but honestly, knowing, having watched Kurant and knowing how he usually plays this sort of thing, I wouldn't be surprised if he would have just gone and done it anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a super long fight. It's not a super short fight, but yeah, I think it's worth it in the long run if you don't have any other Calmness protection. So Drew's running into some of this randomness here and having... Oh, looks like he survived, so he should... Unless he gets exploded. Which he does. Yikes. So running into a bit of an issue here. Hopefully he doesn't have 2,600 points of damage to do. He's good. So.
Bit of a tense moment there.
Yeah, in a vanilla command race, this wouldn't be an issue at all. But you can see once scaling goes up and these random or scale random abilities start happening, it can go quite bonkers. But I think he's gonna make it through now. There he goes.
Now, an interesting thing to me is that Yakko has chosen to fight one of these dragons on his way through the tower.
Yeah, I did notice a couple of his levels were not low. I mean, they're on the low side. He had some in the 30s still, so looking for a little insurance. And when you have Ultimas, you can take dragons out pretty easily. I don't hate the strategy. And now we're running into Ficta is running into that aforementioned boss that in the Kefka's Tower that I think most of our runners had problems with. Doomgaze is in a very unfortunate spot. This is not the boss that you want to be fighting solo, as he can cast random dooms. I also happened to be a level 5 when I ran into him, so it can be quite the bad time. We'll see. I don't know how many turns it's been, but yeah, here comes the doom cast. Ooh, yeah, and down he goes. So now Drew has the opportunity to catch up if he can get through it without hitting those doom casts. Somehow he managed to bring in 2 characters on this side who are both high leveled. Although I guess since Locke was just found, he might have just been starting at a higher level. But surely at an advantage with 2 decently leveled characters for this fight, because it's not on a path you typically put high level characters on.
Yeah, this is going to be the great equalizer here. If Drew gets through it, then he'll be in the lead. If he wipes, then I'll swap back to Ficta. If they both keep wiping, then there's even a chance that Yakko could catch up if they both get unlucky enough. So,
yeah, I think Drew's only got 1 more turn, and then Doomgaze is toast. So I think he'll be all right, unless he gets randomly doomed here. But yeah, he made it through. So Drew officially takes the lead.
oh, and that's probably the other problem on Ficta's side is his Drago is at a multiple of 5, so he can't even hope for a better target on that Doom.
Yeah, I think the strategy here is to just get Strago up so he can at least, if he doesn't absorb a Doom, he can at least be there to Phoenix down Terra again if she takes one to the face. So it is kind of another turn you have to sit through, but having 2 characters here is fairly important. But if he can get 3 Pearl Rods up, I think Doomgaze has, well, the scaling I don't know, but it's around 30,000 HP. But he made it through. Alright, so not far behind.
Yakko has gone for the toilet Atmos spot and found number 24 there.
He made a number 24 in the toilet, huh?
Yep. And reward is not going to be much better because the Genji armor.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. I'm assuming he's just looking for levels anyway. Maybe he's looking for that 11th hour Illumina or something, which, I get it, but the odds are not in your favor.
This seed has really thrown everything at people, but the one thing it hasn't thrown is Ultimas.
That's true. Which is, when you get a fairly free Paladin shield and a whole bunch of free checks, you don't need an Illumina. And you got a Valiant Knife and offerings, come on. You're fine.
Yeah, and lots of people have been asking for a flag to turn Illuminas off, and this can still be what you get when you turn Illuminas off. It's not gonna fix that issue.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of that flag. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love using some Illuminas sometimes, they're really fun, but in certain seeds, they just, there's a point where it gets too easy, and if you're just holding the A button for the entire game, it's not really fun. There needs to be some sort of challenge. You have to keep your brain doing something, so I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree, but I don't usually have a brain when I'm playing this game, so I just kind of like being able to hold the button myself.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh no, Yakko tried to throw money at the white dragon, but he didn't have any. Can't always throw money at the problem, kids. Alright, so Drulith made up quite a bit of time here, has taken a, well, I'll call it a sizable lead. It's really not, it's not all that sizable, but in terms of being able to finish out the race in the lead spot, a sizable lead.
Yeah, he was at 127.50 going into this fight, so I think he has probably about a minute on Ficta at this point.
Yeah, looking like it.
And catching up with Courant real quick, he has found his final character now, so he just needs to get through these Imperial base fights, and he'll be on his way to the tower as well.
Alright.
Yeah, he's got about a minute to a minute and a half of a lead at this point going into this fight.
Like Drulith is trying to take out the long arm there with some instant death, some doomage, but was unsuccessful. So he's going for it the old-fashioned way. Luckily, on that last offering Valiant Knife attack, he just got all 4 on the long arm, which was lucky, but unless he just killed it, because I can't hear it, but then got all 4 on the other arm. That's curious. He must have killed long arm in that last turn.
I think he did. Not 100% sure.
Nope, still alive.
This is the slight difficulty.
You're 0 for 3 so far.
Yeah, this is the slight difficulty of doing commentary on this game, is that we have all the streams muted, so we don't have to listen to ourselves talk, and on like a minute delay, and we can't hear when things die in this fight.
Yeah. That's all good. Alright. Enter a new challenger. So he can make up a lot of ground here. He has Calmness Protection, which I don't think Drew has, and his Valiant Knife user is a lot more powerful. He may have better luck with if he goes for something like a Doom, or he may just want to Ultima this whole thing down. We'll see how he approaches it. But Drew is on to tier 2.
My concern, if you Ultima everything down on the first tier at least, is if you have that Valiant Knife swinging and it hits the arms repeatedly, you're in for an awful time if you don't have life 3 up on that Valiant Knife user. You could just lose them in the first tier, and then the rest of the fight is just awful.
Yep, that's true. It's definitely a good idea to at least throw a couple Fire 3s on the head first.
Drew's in pretty good shape, though. He's, I think, got Doom off on tools, I think it is.
Let's see what's going on here. Alright, that's going to do it for Ficta. So he made up some time here. This is going to be a close one, provided nothing really bad happens. It's going to be very close. And Yakko he's opted to do pretty much every fight in the tower, so he's lagged behind a little bit, but you know, it's an impressive showing from him so far. Keeping up with Drew is not an easy task.
Yeah, and he's definitely on pace for his best showing so far out of this KGP. His previous best was in week 1, where he was at a 233, so he's already like an hour ahead of that, so really good improvement there.
Doing some ice 3s on Tiger there. So is Ficta, has he used Ultima yet? I'm
I
still
don't think he
confused as if he has it. with his
I've
Valiant
been
Knife.
trying to figure out if people have Ultima this entire time, and I've not been successful.
The only two I know have it are Yakko and Drew, because I just saw Drew use it basically in Kefka's tower for the first time. He might lose Strago here, or he might luck out of it, but no, he lucked out. But Ficta had his Valiant Knife user stopped, so that's rough. Oh, down goes Strago anyway, actually, but we have life 2, no problems. Ooh, looks like Realm is not set up for Merton strats either.
Yeah, and also kind of worrying is you have that Setzer with the Valiant Knife, and he is set up for Merton strats with the Absorb. So every time he has to use that Merton strat to unfreeze someone, he's healing his Valiant Knife user.
So he can't have Ultima, right? He'd be using it now if he had it.
I would assume, but I'm not sure. I'm just increasingly confused at what's going on as time goes by.
Alright, so Drillith's moving on to tier 3. He's in good shape. His HP is not in good shape, but he has all 4 characters moving through, so he can recover. I wonder, so stopped people, you cannot use the item remedy to get rid of stop. You just have to wait for it. However, if you have the remedy spell, that for whatever reason will work on somebody who's stopped. So I'm curious if he had it, but certainly possible he didn't. But his he's unstopped now, but just got healed back to nearly full life. Ooh, maybe he'll take a quarter? Oh, he did. No, that's what you want to see with a Valiant Knife user. But for some reason, he's just sitting there, not... Okay, that's what it is. He's done. Alright, so now... Here's where Ficta can make up the most time. All he really needs to do... Put his Fenrir cast up, and then hope he gets lucky with that Valiant Knife, and then move right on to the... Well, he's going to have to... I would cast 1 Fire 3, basically on sleep, and then hope your Valiant Knife does the job. Except he's going to get healed up here. Then he's going to lose Realm, so... Bummer.
It's also the question of who has Fenrir on this party, and I think it might actually be on that Realm if he even has it equipped, which is not even a guarantee.
It's possible. I thought it was on Terra, but I could certainly be wrong. But it looks like Drillith is doing the YOLO strats. He's going to take a Calmness right here. Loses Strago, but has life 3 up, so that's good. And Terra blocks it, so he's in good shape.
Yeah, he had the full life 3s on everyone. He applied those on tier 1 and kept them up the entire time, just reapplying them. So
he does have Ultima. I just saw it. He has it and he's not using it. Alright, well, curious, but I'm sure he has a reason. Yeah, I don't know why you Merton there instead of Ultima in tier 2. Not sure what he was thinking, but
I think he was trying to unfreeze his Setzer.
Well, Setzer
while
was
still
stopped.
doing damage.
He was stopped, not frozen.
He got stopped and then he got frozen.
Oh, he got both. Okay, well.
It was a bad time.
That makes sense then. But, moving on, right behind, so, he's just gonna, it's really only gonna take, let's see, he's doing about 26,000 damage. So it's gonna take 3 Valiant Knife swings if unless he wants to do damage another way here. Putting in a Fire 3, okay. Oh. Oh, right, Runic. He Runic'd it. Oh, a Havoc Wing. Bye, Terra. Life 3. Alright, this is so exciting. But we see there Yakko running into Doomgaze. Luckily, he has a 3rd character. Unfortunately, one of them is a Yeti, which won't do him any real harm for Doomgaze, except the Yeti's always terrible. But hopefully he'll make it through.
Yeah, Drew just got Ultima countered in the face, and I'm not sure how many of his life 3s are still up.
He's good, because he basically needs Setzer Cyan to take, oh, he's going to Ultima it down, okay, well that works too. So he's going to finish here, because this will guarantee to do max damage, and he only does Ultima. Ooh, this is interesting. Ooh! Ficta took it! by 1 second, at least on our stream. We don't know if that's the official time.
That was close. I forgot to join the race room, so I don't actually know what the time was. One second difference. I don't even know what to say to that. Anyways, we're gonna try and get them in for interviews. Hopefully we'll get Drulith in here in a moment, but technically the winner, to our knowledge, unless we end up retiming it just to be fully safe, with a 137.26 to Ficta's 137.27, so about the closest thing that we could possibly have there. Meanwhile, Yakko just making his way through this Doomgaze fight, having a little bit of a problem with it. Karant also going to fight Toilet Atma, so everyone really wanting to deal with that right now. And Yakko forced to take a reset out of that fight. So yeah, it seems like Yakko having a little bit of a trouble getting through the Kefka's tower fights. Currently walling on that Doomgaze, which I kind of expect Karant's going to have that same problem when he gets to it soon. Fighting that number 24, which shouldn't really cause him too much of a problem. And, you know, really, that was one of the closest finishes I've ever seen in this community. You know, obviously the 1 second time aside, you know, it seemed early on in that like Drulith was just going to pull way ahead. Ficta did an amazing job catching up there, but didn't quite make it. Also, sorry for the delay. We're having a little bit of a problem with technical difficulties here, as we are joined by tonight's winner by 1 second, Drulith. How do you feel about that, Drew?
I didn't realize it was going to be so close.
I don't think any of us did. That was amazingly tight at the end there, you know. Apparently retimed is just 7 seconds difference there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a race that close. I mean, I thought I was dead, but I remembered I had life 3 on a few people, and then luckily Goner was next in the script. But yeah, because that Ultima, how unlucky is that?
Yeah, I wasn't sure too with the delay on the first life 3 going off. I thought you'd only had it on 1, and I was like, oh no, this might not quite make it.
Yeah. And I runicked my own magic a few times in the seed. A little rough. And I had a bathroom break. But the worst part, and I'm so frustrated, every single week I have horrible check luck. And I'm sure this week a lot of people had it. But like, my god, I cannot find that character. There's only one thing that can go wrong in open world, and it's not being able to find your character requirement. And that's exactly what happened to me. Otherwise, I had everything I needed to make the seed go really fast. Like I had V Knife offering, I had Ultima, and all that.
That actually was a question I had for you. Why not Mount Colts?
It takes a long time to run through, and that would have been where I went next. Like if I didn't find it at Opera House. The thing about Opera House and like Owzers and checks like that is if you get fast encounters or if you skip the encounters in some cases, like in Opera House, they're actually pretty fast. Mount Colts just takes a long time to run through no matter what. And you have to fight a boss still.
Yeah, because that ended up being where Ficta, he was in the same boat as you at that 10 looking for the last character check, and he ended up finding his there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to like commit to Mount Colts when I can do stuff like, you know, peek in the Velt Cave or Fanatic's Tower or Mobliz, or, you know, you can reset out of Owzers like I did. Daryl's, like all of those, like they're just so quick, and then they never have the character. So then you have to resort to these checks that I would say never do an open world, like Opera House, Colts, Leet River, Serpent Trench. I would have done Magitech Factory, but I'd already gotten all the Espers I needed.
Yeah, Magitech Factory would have given you a character. Basically, any check that you didn't want to do there had a character behind it, because Dream had a character, Floating Continent had 2.
Yeah. So Floating Continent, I would have done it if I had 5 characters, because if you have 5 characters, then you have a chance of, you know, there's less of a chance that you're getting over the requirement. So like that's the routing logic there. And then with the Dream, like that's the same thing. Like I already had the Espers, and Dream is really good for Espers because you can get up to 3 there, and it's only 1 character. So yeah, just a lot of like, you make the quote unquote correct routing decisions, but the game's just like, nah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I think the minimum number I've seen of dead checks I've seen from anybody so far is 6. So
yeah,
everybody was kind of in the same boat, because all of the free quick ones at the start of the game, I think every one of them was dead.
You know, I want to say, and I have no evidence except for, you know, the way the seed is. I want to say Fowls vetted it.
That's quite possible.
Pick this seed that had a lot of the free lunch checks. Baron.
Although that reminds me, because he's in the race room right now, I'm not sure if he's listening, but this seed was chosen by Mildane, so you can thank him for that.
Good improvement over the last time he picked a seed.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, he only picked one that Fowls gave him a choice of 2, and he just picked A or B. So he didn't roll it, but he technically did pick it.
Right.
But we gave him enough crap for his pick last time. We probably don't need to do that again.
Nope, I will be bitter about that until the end of my days. I don't know how anyone else. And I would be bitter about this one too, with how much of that was just dead checks at the start.
For sure. Hey, how many weeks are left? Is it 1 or 2?
2 more weeks.
Okay. I really hope my luck turns around.
I think you're doing all right.
But it's okay, yeah. Everybody's, I mean, this is just a really fun event regardless, so.
Cool.
Everybody's gotten a lot better, so.
Yeah, congrats on winning the restream race by 7 seconds. That was I didn't get to talk to you at the beginning there because my internet died for the first time in like 5 years. Anyway, good job, and hopefully we'll see you again for the next one.
Yep. Thanks. You take care.
See you, Drew. We want to try to get Ficta in here.
Sure do. And just a quick catch up. In the meanwhile, Yakko had said he was gonna try and grind a little bit before doing that Doomgaze check. Was having real big problems with it. Courant now hitting that Atma in inconvenient places. So I don't think he's gonna have too much of a problem with it because he does have his Realm with Ultima and his Gao with Sword Tech there, so he should be just fine. But
his HP is not good though.
Oh, definitely not.
And ground his way into a level 5 on Cyan actually, so that's unfortunate. But I think he can recover. Anyway, I think Ficta's ready, so we'll get him in here. And we have Ficta with us. GG's Ficta. Well done on the finish there. That was a barn burner.
Oh, definitely. That was fun.
You and Drew were swapping the lead for the last like half an hour or so. I think you were both looking for your final character at the same time, and you found it, I think, like not even a minute before he did.
Wow.
Had a slight lead into Kefka's tower, but then ran into some issues with, enemies, whatever. So we're swapping back and forth, and you were making a valiant push there at the end and when you were fighting Kefka, but then you got an unlucky stop on your Valiant Knife user. Anyway, I'll let you talk about it. How about that?
Well, you basically covered it. The statue bosses were mean to me. The Doomgaze fight, I knew I should have put the Paladin shield on Terra earlier. That could have saved me, 2 minutes. So I could have beat Drew then. Yeah, let's go with that, okay?
You basically tied. We'll just say that for the restream purposes, you guys tied.
All right, I'll go with that. This seed was nothing like any of my practices. The characters were not in any of the freebies.
Yep.
Or the quick checks.
Yeah, we were commenting often on your strategy. I mean, it was clear what you were doing, and I think it was smart to go in the party average level scaling to go do all the free quick stuff first, which of course most people did. But we were remarking that I think you had something like 8 espers and 5 characters before you ever even took a fight, which was fairly hilarious, or at least took a boss fight.
Yeah.
So I noticed you did, I think, every free check there was, even went for stuff like Phoenix Cave.
Yep.
But talk a little bit more about your strategy, if I missed anything here.
Yeah, so I was hoping to find a character in at least one of them. But my strategy is to hit up all the free checks. I didn't do Mount Zozo because I typically want to save that for later when my levels are better and I can fight the dragon there. But in all my practices, when you get 7, 8 espers, one of them's bound to have, good magic. And you have good equipment too. So you can do the Welk check, quite late and it's fine. Even though you're level 3, you're pretty jacked, I think. So I wasn't scared.
Speaking of good magic, I noticed you weren't making a whole lot of use of Ultima there. Any particular reason? Like, was it just, were you thinking spellcast time or what?
I like Merton better because it can heal. I don't know if you guys caught what I did. I forgot that I had an Aegis shield on Realm, and she had no protection.
Yep, caught that.
And I didn't realize until Sleep did it and killed me. I'm like, whoa, whoops.
That's why I was wondering why you were using Merton instead of Ultima there. But if you didn't notice, I guess that's a good enough reason as any.
Well, that was right of you to wonder because I didn't do it right.
Yeah, well,
Ultima takes a bit too long for me, so I didn't. I only had it on Realm, so.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, especially when you have like Valiant Knives and offerings and stuff. So you had plenty of offense. So I was just curious if it was a conscious choice or if some people, not naming names, me, forget you have it sometimes. So. Anyway, but it was still a really good time, sub 140. It was super good, especially when all the good checks are, dead. So I think I personally hit 7 dead checks. I know some people hit between 6 and 9. They were all over the place. We're pretty sure that this was intentional from Fouls. We'll have to ask him. But anyway, Ed, did you have any questions for Ficta?
Nope, I think you hit just about all of them. I mean, it was extremely close. At one point in time, I timed both of you, I want to say coming out of the Atma fight, or going into it, you were 10 seconds apart from each other. So it was very, very close throughout.
Right. Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Can we vote not to let Mildane roll any seeds from now, or pick any seeds from now on?
Wholeheartedly agree. As a person who has been personally victimized by Mildane seed rolling back in KGP Week 6, when I was on my only time I've ever been restreamed for this game. So
I think you'll have community support behind that one.
All right. Okay.
But let's not give them a complex or anything.
Yeah. True. Okay. All right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks
thank you
to
for the
GG's
routine team.
again.
Sorry.
I just said thanks and GG's.
Oh, GG's.
Final thoughts. Sign offs.
No, I guess I'm just watching Karant and Yakuako. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in chat there.
Cool. Thanks. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Okay, so did Yakko make it through Doomgaze? It looks like he's grinding again.
Yeah, he decided to go with a grind for it instead.
So what he's going to need to do if he wants to take this route, well, okay, so he can grind above the level 50 cap, which will take a while, or he can kill off the stupid Yeti and then grind it up, and that way his average is at least being dragged down by the dead body. That may help him out a little bit. But yeah, grinding when the enemies scale along with your level is, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good until you can outpace the scaling. So, really, he just needs to be in a not level 5 sort of area. He needs to put his paladin shield up on somebody here, make use of a relic. Maybe if he still has like a memento ring or something from Realm, that can be a big help for Doomgaze. Or maybe he's already done Doomgaze and I'm wrong. It's really hard to tell what's going on right now.
I'm pretty sure he's hasn't done Doomgaze, and he's occasionally flipping back to save after each fight just in case. Personally, I mean, even before grinding, what I would have done is honestly warped my way out of Kefka's tower and just redistributed my parties.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to do it. It takes a while to get back there, but sometimes it's the only thing you can do. You got to check those espers to see if you have useful spells. Matter of fact, he may have access to life 3 that he's neglecting. There are a few different strategies you can do here, but just straight leveling when you're using a level scaling is probably not the best answer anyway.
Yep, and he's going to go for it now. Karant has gotten through that fight, and I think he took the Moogle Charm off of Realm to replace it before he got accidentally got an encounter. That's fine.
Whoops. That could be disastrous, potentially. But I think he'll be alright. Oh, uh-oh. 2 trade-offs not going to be good. Ooh, lucky block. Yeah, he just has to hope he does enough damage for this Dark Force. Ooh, okay.
Deeply unfortunate. I really hope he saved after that Doomgaze fight. Although I don't think he didn't really have particular trouble with it. He'll be fine if he has to do it again, but still.
Did he make it through the Doom? Oh yeah, he's on the save point. Wait. What? He's going backwards now. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, he's doing grind fights. He took that fight intentionally. I think he just wants more levels, or maybe he's trying to get another person with Ultima or something. But I think that was an intentional fight. Now he went to a different room to find a different encounter.
It would be a very weird character to want that Ultima on when you
he's using sword tech. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's not what. Maybe he just wants the levels. It could be.
Yakko's through it now as well, so he'll not need to grind anymore. He should be on his way over to that wonderful Atma weapon coast home.
All right. And I was going to say, you can't cleave these guys, but he figured that out now. Ultima always does the trick, though.
Ultima's like cleave, but it takes longer.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There's a possibility he might have been trying to learn Mute on Realm for that second tier.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, provided he can get through the next fight quickly and then get through Kefka with no issues, I think this is going to be a PB for Karant as well. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him.
he's still got 40 minutes before he goes behind his PB, so I think that's a pretty safe bet.
All right, well, you definitely jinxed him.
Yep. Don't make me say how long it is before Yak goes, too. I'll jinx both of them if I have to.
Yeah, don't say it. Hopefully they've got all the grinding they need out of their systems and they just go for it. But Karan's HP values are shockingly low. See what I did there? Shockingly low. I'm curious. I'm curious if he didn't heal up or if this is really all he's got. Because if he's using 1800 HP for the end game here, he's going to be in trouble.
I'm pretty sure that's all he's got because his characters are all in the high to mid 30s, so he's a little bit behind on levels.
Well, hopefully he put an experience egg on somebody. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he could catch up, but then he only has this one fight left to get experience with, so...
More grinding. It's always an option, I guess. Of course, he could just make the decision he doesn't need all 4 characters to make it all the way through. But something tells me he's not the type to do that sort of strategy. All right, Yakko's going in. I think. Pretty sure it's going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, we've been having a bit of technical difficulties with his stream, and it tends to go slideshow from time to time. So I'd be surprised if he's actually in the fight and his stream.
He's probably fighting already. Yeah. Looks like Karan is going to take a couple more fights here. I wonder if maybe Echo just needs to turn his bitrate down.
Probably.
Might all it ends up being. Somebody suggest that to him in Discord, because I'm going to forget.
That's going to be our streaming advice of the week. If you're having problems like this, turn down your bitrate.
2000 or lower, I believe, is the recommended setting for when you're being restreamed on Randomania. I mean, that could be for any restream. I don't know. I think it has something to do with having 4 running at the same time through one person's system. But anyway, that's what the notes say. 2000 or below.
Anyways, we'll comment on the bits of the fight that we can see. Unfortunately, technical issues always going to happen. He's mostly going with Ultima for everything.
Yeah, it looks like I hope he's familiar with the whole Quake scenario here, and he takes out that head before too long. But all right, I think it looked maybe like the head was dead, so maybe he got some attacks in that I couldn't see.
Yeah, the head does seem to be dead.
Okay, but he is going to take some shockwaves, which if it hits Cyan is bad news. Maybe he can avoid it. All right, moving on through. It's not the worst that could have happened. We're learning some more spells. Yeah, he's still only level 36. 36 technically good enough, but certainly not safe. Okay, so he's getting Ultima on Celis, so he's going to take another 5 fights, maybe, because I think most of these are only providing 5 AP. Oh, bio. Interesting.
Are any of these even weak to poison, or is he just doing that for damage?
So, one of them, I think Tiger. One of these can be poisoned, as in it can have the status effect poison, but I don't think anybody's weak to poison. I don't think it's going to do you a whole lot of good. You're better off just going, yeah. So Tiger does have poison on, and it does fairly substantial damage, but still just faster to blast him with an Ice 3 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I'm just really wondering if that's going to end up being slower than just doing the damage at this point.
Yeah.
Especially with Ultima on everyone.
Right, I think it will. Yeah, it's just faster to hit him with a big damage spell, because Bio doesn't do a whole lot. Especially when you split it across all 4 targets. And then the sap damage, take, what, 1 or 2 of those before you kill him, so... better off just doing straight damage. But, maybe it was on a character that was all I got. Who knows? Or maybe he hit the wrong thing. I don't know.
It's possible, but I mean, I would think it's probably some sort of deliberate strategy.
You don't know. You're right. You're probably right.
I think Bio is a little ways off from other spells he might be using too, so...
Yeah, well, it could be right next to Ice 3. Well, then
Possible.
but he wouldn't want to multi-target that one anyway. Yeah. We can ask him about it if we really want to. Ooh, the dreaded in-cross. Here it comes. Here's the reason that you take out Tiger first. Luckily, only gets one frozen person there, but now he's going to take 10 hits while he's pretty low on HP, so this could end up being not great. Looks like Current Celis is not going to survive this. Ooh, that's curious. What happens here if you die after? Okay, well, it looks like Doom overrides Petrify. I don't know if I've seen that scenario before, but that's interesting.
I'm a little bit worried because he's running out of Phoenix Downs before the final boss.
We know he has a life. Oh, he's going to get petrified again. We know he has a life spell somewhere on Esper. I believe he got the life to Esper. I don't remember where it was, but I thought he got it. He really just needs Celis to stay alive through the end of this fight, because I think the only grinding he's doing... Yeah, he does have life too, it's just on Celis, so... but he's about to need it, unless, of course, this shock does the trick. No.
Well, I got 2 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. So we get 20. Okay, that's going to do it. That was actually a pretty good encounter for learning spells, considering it gives 25 AP. So he's got his Ultima. Hopefully he'll be on his way. Oh, yeah, and he had the XP egg on.
Meanwhile, Yakko has made it up to tier 3 successfully without anyone losing anyone, I think.
We in there.
Tier 3 looks more sinister than usual like this.
It's like a Picasso painting.
Most fights in this game are at their most terrifying when they're an impressionist collage.
Whoop. Oh, hi, Mickey. Hello. The dog has come to visit. He wants to watch the end of the race. Who do you think's going to win, Mick? Yeah. Me too. What in the world does Soonwell to Umnicide mean? Is that a Picasso reference I don't get?
I think it might be an Earthbound reference. I'm not entirely sure. I remember Moonside being a town in Earthbound, but I don't exactly remember the reference.
Earthbound reference. I've never played that game, so I don't get it, but I'm happy somebody does.
I technically don't get it, but managed to figure it out just solely from remembering Moonside.
Oh, so it is kind of a Picasso reference, roundabout. So, count it. All right, moving on. We're at Final Kefka. Somewhere in there, a Tier 3 fight happened, and he made it through.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have all Ultimas, Tier 3 is not a problem.
Yeah, it's really just calmness, and he has some sort of protection. I see Celis has images, but I think he also has a Mirage vest, so maybe Celis... I don't know. Yeah, she's got Ultima, okay.
Maybe he was just hoping for the best.
Looked like it. Won't be long now. Look at those glorious jumps. It's like a majestic eagle. And now we guess. Does he make it through?
I think he does.
Let's take bets in the chat. What are the odds? Do we see a splash screen or an end cutscene when it comes back? Oh, Ficta, no confidence in Yakko. And Cat, I don't believe seagulls are majestic. And it's an insult to dragoons, and you watch your mouth. Oh, splash is in it. Okay, so you think you finished. Okay, splash screen. That may be an outdated term, I don't know, but it used to mean the screen that pops up when you turn something on. He made it. He did it. Finish it. Yakko's done. 209.40 something. See what is it? Official time was 209.30. Well done here. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview.
That's still going to be comfortably about 24 minutes ahead of his fastest time so far, so it's a very good showing for him.
Cool. See if we can get him in here. Karan still got enemies to go through. I thought he was on the last. I guess he just did him at.
Yeah, I guess he did. Guess he did Doomgates first.
Weird, but all right. However you want to do it, cool with me. All right. Now, we do have Yakko with us, but I see he's currently deaf and mute. So hopefully he knows to turn that off. Hello, Yakko. Are you there? You are currently muted, so unmuting is step one. Technical difficulties, folks. One moment.
Meanwhile, while we're getting our little bit of technical difficulties here sorted out, oh, never mind. I think we're there.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, Yakko, I've muted you again because all we're hearing is blaring Final Fantasy music. So if you've got your microphone next to your speakers, go ahead and turn your audio off. Try this again. Nope, not yet. Let's check in one more time.
Better?
We made it. Can you hear me? Hello.
Anyways, while we're still working our way through these technical difficulties a little bit, Grant, now on his way into the final Kefka fight, is doing quite well now at this point.
I'm going to go ahead and mute him until he sends us the okay signal here. All right, so let's all root Karant on. He's just going for the
Get this to happen.
Ultima strats, I see. Hope he remembers that multi-summon is off, so now he will not have Fenrir for tier 3.
I'm getting the messages. I
Hopefully
just
won't
can't
be
hear
taking a
anyone
quake to the
else.
face.
Okay. No, headphones are not crossed out.
Comes the dreaded dread. Celeste has been getting she's been getting stoned a lot tonight. I hope he has some softs or remedies left. All right, he's got a remedy. That's good. Both. Hopefully we'll do enough damage on that head to hopefully it just died. Otherwise we're going to be in big trouble here. Nope, here comes the quake. Ah, multi-kill. All right, well, he's going to be going through with one character. Probably going to need to reset here.
Yeah, it's deeply unfortunate, especially with that Fenrir used that early on. Basically just gonna probably, at best, make this a very difficult fight. At worst, wipe him later. I would just reset too.
Yeah, this Celis isn't going to make it through being petrified. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, so this is he's going to go for it though. Apparently. All right. Well, I like the chutzpah. Let's check back in with Yakko. Hello, Yakko. Can you hear me? Still a big no on that one. Okay. All right. Well, we'll check back in later. See if we can work that out. See if this works. Sorry, folks, still working through some technical difficulties here. But Karant is still going strong. Got a cleave off. We're ultimating. Well, I don't believe he got Golem, so he's used up his only calmness protection. But you can kind of you can gauge how well you're going to block calmness with how many hits you can block out of 10 hits, since everything is physical. I don't know that the accuracy is technically the same, but it's an indicator of how well you can do, and he blocked a fair amount. So if he can make it through all the way to the end of Tier 3, he may be in position to just tank calmness with nothing, which could be fine. We'll have to see if he can make it that far, and then it's on to Final Kefka, which can be done with 3 characters. You just have to do, be a little careful.
Yeah, and really, at this point in time, I don't think he's gonna get through this with what he has.
I'm trying to be optimistic here. I think the faster way would actually just be to reset and try it again. But, give it the old college try here.
One thing that I've always appreciated whenever I've seen Karant on one of these restreams is he does not ever give up on anything.
He doesn't seem to get discouraged, which is good.
Yeah, because, if there's anyone who honestly, if there's anyone that I believe could get through this check just fine as is with this party, Karant is actually kind of high up on that list just because he never gives up on any of this stuff.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that Quake come out, I would have just been immediately, or actually, rather, as soon as I heard the head not die first, I would have immediately just reset. We'll see if he can take a Merton here, which he can. He's in good shape. So, he's still in this. I mean, you can't count him out yet. Really, calmness is going to be the equalizer here. If he can make it through calmness with either nobody or only one person down, it's still doable. Going into Final Kefka solo is pretty much a death wish, unless, of course, you have offering Valiant Knife in a high level and can take him out in one hit. But just with those counterattacks that start happening, one character is a low chance of survivability. So, as long as he doesn't get 2 characters calmness, he can technically do it.
Yeah, it's just gonna take a little while, but he's plugging away. I didn't expect him to get through Tier 2, and honestly, I feel like that if any tier was gonna give him particular trouble, Tier 2 might have been it. So I'm not as pessimistic as I was about before.
But I'll remind you, you did jinx his PB earlier, so
100%.
And out come the Meteos. I don't know if he's going to have enough damage here to prevent another. Okay, all right. There's one block. All right, he's going through with 2. I don't know what Gao brings to the table other than a 6,000 per turn sword tech. But as long as he can stay alive, and hopefully Gao has a life 2 or something in case Terra goes down. We'll have to see, but I don't know if he has any magic on him. We'll have to see. But it's exciting.
But this final fight, really is going to come down to whether or not he knows how to get through it, because he could creep his way through it just by waiting for that goner phase, do damage during that. I'm a bit concerned that if he takes a hyperdrive counter somewhere along the way, he might have a bit of a difficult time recovering with only 2 characters.
Oh yeah. And he's gonna need, hopefully, okay, he's got a Mega Elixir, which is good. Because he was pretty much out of MP. Alright, we're okay. We're okay. Goner's gonna be an issue. Oh, out come the Havoc Wings. Yikes. 9,800 damage. Yikes.
And with an Ultima queued up, this could be quite bad.
So I think what's going to happen is he's going to come out of it and go into Goner charge, and hopefully Terra's got a life too, and then a cure. He can tank Goner. Yep, do a life too, and then do a nope. All right, well, Ultima. I mean, he should be fine. Theoretically, Goner will do probably 1,800 to 2,000 damage when split between 2 people. So that must mean he's right around half damage right now. So this will put him up to about 45,000 damage. Oh, he's going to go for another sword tech after Goner. All right, well, I like it. Hopefully, yeah, really all he needs to do is to have 2 more Ultimas and not get countered. And all right, that did even less damage than I thought. 1,500 on Gal. So provided he gets these 2 Ultimas off, I think he'll actually pull this off. I think.
It's going to be very, very, very close.
I think he did it. He did it! Way to go, Courant.
That was actually really quite impressive, I'm going to be honest. I had no faith in that at the start of the fight. It's just me.
None whatsoever. That was impressive. Yeah, he made it all the way through with with basically a B team, and then under leveled and down a man, down 2 mans for the final fight. That was a wild finish. I'm glad he made it through. Let's see if we can get him here to talk about it.
And we are joined by tonight's 4th place finisher, Courant, with a time of 2:24.36. GG's, and very, very impressive final fight, considering what happened at the start.
Thank you. Yeah, that was, well, I will say, I keep forgetting that when you put gem box on somebody, they can't use espers anymore. Haha. So that I go in and I realize that, and I'm going, well, I just get to blitz them to death. And then I blitzed them, and they all decided, hey, congratulations. Thank you for blitzing us. We're going to use all of our final attacks on you and watch you suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to make sure if you're going to go for the Ultima strats in Tier 1 that you at least take a turn or 2 to hit the head first.
Yeah.
And
I was
okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I should have had I should have been doing that. So lesson learned, I guess.
But you know what? It doesn't even matter, because old Nth here was like, there's no way. There's no way he's making it through this. And you did it. It was super impressive. There was a whole lot of Ultimas, a whole lot of sword techs, and just almost everything bad that could have gone wrong did go wrong, and you pulled it through anyway. So very well done on that final fight.
Well, thank you.
Fair, by the time Tier 3 came around, I did say that if there was anyone I had faith in turning this one around, it was you. So.
That's true. He did say that. Or sorry, they did say that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, the final fight's I'm always kind of on edge because, as you guys know, I'm still relatively new to the randomizer, so there's always that nebulosity about it. And I mean, I wasn't even really thinking like, oh crap, can I pull this off? I'm just thinking, okay, well, I know what buttons I need to push to do this, so let's see if I can get them pushed.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, this was a personal best time for you? Question mark.
Yes, it is. I think it was a PB by 17 minutes, something like that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Nth said. So spot on on that one, Nth. And yeah, that was a great job. These open world seeds are a real crapshoot. They can be super fast or ridiculously long. So I think this is a solid time, considering most of those free easy checks were dead.
yeah. I will say though that. Oh, sorry.
No.
Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's totally fine. I was just going to remind Asher in here, we can stop the timer now. But please continue.
I was just going to say, I will say the other thing, two other things that really stood out from the run. First off, if you guys noticed, my routing went worse about an hour 15-ish as far as flying around the world map and trying to find things. So what happened was, I think I was marking a check and then I clicked back on the BizHawk window and accidentally double-clicked it somehow, which full screens it. So I'm like, oh crap, I need to get it back off of full screen in case it screws up the restream. So I double-click back and it gets real small, and me being blind and old-farted, I couldn't barely see anything. So certainly the mini-map. So that contributed at least a teeny bit.
Yeah,
Another thing...
well, the good news is we didn't notice it at all on the restream, at least as far as the scaling and size went.
I actually did, but that was right when the other two were getting into Kefka's tower, so no one else noticed as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't notice anything at all. I'm gonna put it.
Yeah, you probably noticed it flickering. I think that's really about all it seemed to do from OBS's end.
It switched to a different aspect ratio and then came back.
Yeah.
So,
So,
BizHawk, you should and Emo Tracker, you should look into the auto tracking, and then you won't have to worry about clicking anywhere.
yeah, I suppose I should at some point. Another thing that I found, I will be honest, I was just completely rolling when this happened. The double KO in Vector.
Double KO in Vector.
On the train going out of Vector, whenever I was fighting the boss, I ended up getting double KO'd.
As in, you had two characters get killed at the end, or you killed the boss at the same time they killed you?
I killed the boss. Well, I think what happened was...
the death counter.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact sequence of events, but I had sent Cyan up to jump, and he had gotten hit. I think he was down to low HP, then got hit with Snowball, which I'm assuming does DOT as well as cut your HP in half.
That's right. So yeah, you hit the ground and then took some more damage and died, huh?
Well, I actually died in the air.
In the air, right?
Yeah, it hit 0 HP when Cyan was still in the air, and then Cyan comes down and kills the boss. I mean, I know I should have just immediately reset out of that and gotten the time back, but I just couldn't help it. It was so hilarious. I had to just laugh for a bit.
That is pretty good. Yeah, weird things happen in the air. All sorts of bugs and weird glitches and things can happen. You can die from damage over time. Your condemned counter keeps counting up in the air, and you can die from that. All sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's really cool if you kill him on the way. Basically, your corpse landed on the boss and killed him.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool. Well, Anthony, got anything else for Kurant before we get out of here?
That was it. No, 15-minute PB in terms of the tournament. So very good job.
Yeah, I was gonna say one last thing I'll ask before you guys go, because I know y'all got to get going and such. I'm not the sort. I don't like going back and rewatching videos because I'll get so mad at past me that I won't get anything out of it. Would one of y'all mind just kind of, if there are any things to take away from it, mind PMing me?
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. All right,
I will let you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I know some of it was just I'm still working on routing, which I am. I feel like I'm better at it, but I still am working on it. But any other advice folks give me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Cool. Well, you guys heard it. Those of you on the Discord, if you have ideas for Quran, let them know.
Just don't bombard me, please.
Yeah, be nice about it. Don't be a dick. Well, thanks for joining us. Well done again. It was a great showing, and we'll hopefully catch you on the next one.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I admit part of the reason I volunteered to restream this time was I figured I could actually squeeze it under 3 hours this time, so y'all wouldn't have to, cut the stream early. So I was happy about that.
You did it.
Yay!
All right. Take it easy.
All right, y'all too.
Okay, do we want to give, let's give Yakko one last shot here, see if he's worked out his troubles. I'm going to unmute him.
I can hear
Yakko,
you.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you. Okay.
All
so
right.
we gotta go on the phone then.
We did it.
This computer hates me.
No worries. We got it sorted out. So, yeah, well done on the finish.
Oh my god. I'm just glad I finished before you guys signed off.
Yeah. So, being the nature of open world is, you can go anywhere, do anything, and you have no idea where stuff is. I mean, that's the nature of the randomizer, I guess. But the potential for a jet, hour and 20 seed is there, and the potential for a 3 or 4 hour seed is there. So
Right.
I think you did very well. And I'm not sure if you knew this already, going on based on what's going on in chat, but actually going into Kefka's tower, you're only maybe 2 or 3 minutes behind Drew and Ficta.
Yeah, I was looking at my time. I was like, oh, I'm actually doing okay. And then I'm thinking to myself, as long as Poltergeist isn't here, and not realizing that Doomgaze was on my weakest team.
Yep, that happened to quite a few of us, I will say.
Yeah. As soon as I heard the music, I was like, yes, it's not Poltergeist. And then I'm like, no, it's Doomgaze.
Yeah, so we noticed when you went into Kefka's tower, you decided to do pretty much every fight in there. Were you just were you looking for levels, or were you looking for stuff, or what was going on there?
A combination of both. More like just in case I'm not leveled up enough, just in case there's a surprise in there, I want to make sure that I have enough padding so that I'm okay. And also it gave me a couple of extra Ultima users as a backup in case I get calmed like crazy.
Yeah, I mean it worked out for you because you had a pretty good Kefka fight. In the interest of pure speed, that you were doing great pretty much all the way through, and then really the only slowdown was in Kefka's tower there. But I understand the hesitation because that fight can be brutal.
Yeah, that's why I decided to grind a little bit, get Ultima on him, put the experience egg, and try to get his magic power up. So that.
Yeah. Nth, you got anything for Yakko?
About the only thing was just the fixed encounter checks at the start and the routing behind that.
Oh, what would you recommend?
Well, no, I don't really so much have a recommendation. Just more curious of the thought process fully behind it.
What Nth is trying to ask is, how come you didn't go for all the super quick freebies rather than doing the longer checks that have more fights in them?
Well, I figure as long as I'm nourished, I'll just get everything out of the way. I completely forgot to go to the cave to the sealed gate. I had thought about it, but at that point, I'm like, at this point, it might be a little time-consuming to do that, and I was at a point where I was kind of Esper looking at that point.
Ah, so that's why you didn't have a Valiant Knife going. Okay, yeah. So there was a Valiant Knife down in the treasure room there, which everybody was making good use of, and I swore I don't think he has it, but I couldn't. It's hard to follow 4 people at the same time, so I wasn't sure.
I hear you. I've seen the videos, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, what's going on now?
Yeah, that's okay though. Again, open world. You have now. I guess a recommendation would be in pretty much any seed, open world seed, or if you start with Terra, make that the first place you go. There's so much quick treasure there.
Oh, if it's Terra for sure, it's like once I get Terra, I'm go.
Yeah. But otherwise, it was well done. You were rocking those Ultimas pretty good, and I mean it was an impressive fight. So it was well done. Is this your first restream?
This is my first restream, as you can tell.
Yeah, well, it's a good show. We were hoping that it wouldn't go, you wouldn't have too much trouble with it, and you didn't. So well done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Other than Doom games, I thought, okay, it's actually going all right. So I
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
everyone would be done in 45 minutes then.
Everybody had problems with Doom guys, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay.
Well, except Drew, but okay, he had problems elsewhere. So
Okay.
cool.
I'll check that on the on the replay.
Yeah, check the VOD back and let us know how things went for you. But other than that, I think we're gonna get out of here. So any final thoughts?
Nothing I can think of.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Any suggestions on to improve? Put them in the Discord for me if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, we're gonna do our sign off here. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. Okay, folks, that's going to do it for us. Make sure to tune in on Saturday on Randomania for our weekly race. We're holding all of our events, well, at least the current plan is to hold our minor events and things here on this channel. Please get the word out on Twitch and in the community to come join the official Worlds Collide Twitch channel. Give us a follow, and we'll see you over at Randomania. A big thanks to Nth and to Ceiling Cat and Asherin in the background, to all 4 of our runners, and of course to Atmatech for making this game. And thanks for coming, and we'll see you guys on the next one. We out.